how to insert a component in Fusion, and why won't it let you insert a component sometimes in Fusion. New in 2026, you need to make sure that you're in an assembly or hybrid design. If you're in the part design, you'll notice you don't have the assembly toolbar, you don't have an insert component option. If you see this little assembly icon up here, that looks good, and you have the assemble toolbar, then you're in good shape. Go to assemble, find insert component. But one challenge that people face is there's some things about the insert component that a lot of beginners don't understand. So let's look at that. When you choose insert component, the first thing is you're going to browse out and find a file. This consists of my data panels. So you are not browsing out to a local file on your machine like on your desktop or downloads, but instead you'll need to use file upload to bring that file that's maybe just on your desktop or somewhere on your computer, bring it into your Fusion data panel over here so that you can insert it. So when you insert it, it's going to come into your browser as the next part file if we were on the assembly level. Just a little bit more about that in just a second. This brings it in, and in our case, I'm just going to accept where it places it. So when you go to insert a file, I can insert neutral files, Fusion files. So this is an IGES step files work, so I can bring in most file types as long as they've been uploaded into your Fusion data panel. Once this comes in, it's going to come in with no real features other than inserted as new component, and it brings it in. The next thing you need to decide is where your part file should be dropped. If it's an assembly, then you're probably going to be joining it or constraining it to other components. So it's usually okay to just drag and drop it where you want it to. There are multiple move type options when it comes to orienting where the part will go. You can simply drag along any of these sliders, or the flat panel or the rotation. We can make all of these changes where this will sit. But if you will be joining in this where it goes or are using a line, you can use those tools to get it where it's supposed to go and simply drop it in. I might try using this point to point option. And what this does, it allows me to select a point on the model and then something like the origin to place it right on the origin. We do have the option of also grounding this to parent. Now that it's been placed, I can use joints to get this aligned where it's supposed to go with other components. Now, one challenge with this new component that's in the assembly, when I look at the browser here, I notice that it looks just slightly different. One thing, it has this little chain link, and it also has the pencil. That's telling me that this file is externally referencing or linked out to some other design file. What this means is that if I were to make changes to this original file, or if someone else were to make changes that I'm collaborating with, it will show up in the assembly. Let's look at that in action. So I'm going to fill it, this bottom hole, just something simple. We're going to fill in this hole. Hit delete on the keyboard, filled in. If I hit save, that will impact any assemblies that this file is located in. So let's go. Now it hasn't updated. The fillet has not changed. This hole has not been filled in, but when I go up to the top, I see this little chain link and a little warning symbol. I also see the little triangle. And what this is telling me is that one or more of your components have been changed. And so if you would like to update, you simply click it. It will then update the reference and get the latest and greatest that's been saved. Verifying, there's the fillet and the hole has been filled in. So you have a decision to make. If this file is something that you would like to continue to reference to that original file, it's an important base component that you use over and over again. Think inserted parts, think fasteners and other types of files that you want to use across many assemblies. That's great. You can continue to work with it. You can use this pencil and make changes, and those changes will go back to the original design file. When you're done, simply do the finish, edit in place, and we're back at the assembly level. We can right click on this file and choose break link. This will permanently break that reference to where the original file no longer changes or impacts this file that lives in this design assembly. From now on, this file is its own brand new file within Fusion that lives only in this assembly, and we can make changes to it without it impacting our original. One thing we haven't talked about yet that I mentioned a little bit earlier that can be important is, would you like for the inserted file to be its own component that sits under this top level assembly file name? Or would you like it to be effectively a sub part of another part or sub-assemblies. So for example, even though this is just a simple part file, I can insert our component into there. We're going to activate this file by right click, activate, or click and then click the little circle. It's now the active component. If we go to insert component, grab the file that we want, we insert it, this design will only live within the component that we just selected. We click OK. Now you can see this has the multiple bricks. So it's a sub-assembly that lives underneath this assembly. If we were to isolate this, the only two things that exist are this Lego brick component and this arm design. I hope this helps explain the insert component command. We're going to be working our way through all these different assembly buttons going forward. So be sure to check out that next video and definitely sign up for my Fusion resources. They're all free, got assemblies and other cheat sheets that can help you ramp up on Fusion. I'll see you guys in the next video.